was great to be out here. The hard work, the effort, the energy that you put in year one, you see some of the results of that now. Much different practice tempo. Kids embraced it. They understood. It's year two for all of us now. I enjoy being out here because guess what? Nobody can find me. There's no other thing. It's just football, and that's what's been fun. We've had a couple of weeks of ramp-up time. Our kids have done a really good job of being intentional about it. The 24 new players, 25 new players that we brought in the last 2 weeks have been critical for their development. Excited about that we were able to two-spot today. Probably got over 100 team snaps in just spiders and helmet, which I think is productive. Then we'll take a couple days to kind of go back and critique and learn from it and ramp it back up next Wednesday.
Coach, another year, another quarterback battle, a bunch of new guys in that room right now. What did you see from them today on day one?
Well, what I'd like to see a little more urgency. We didn't finish our scripts in either of our periods, and that's on our quarterbacks. They got to get us in and out of the huddle a little bit, continue to understand the verbiage, the communication that's required to be successful, and then decision making. I am pleased with where all of them are. It's going to be very competitive, but they also help each other. So there's a lot of servant leadership in that room as well. So, they're helping no Bulldogs down. They're all helping each other.
I know you've got Josiah back. Tell me a little bit about some of the other leaders on this offense and who you expect to really step up.
Well, just even at the receiver position, I see Zeke Abbott, Harold Duvall, two receivers, Jordan. Guys who played quite a bit for us, maybe more special teams, but that this last year has been critical in their development. Harold kind of figured it out late in the year. Zeke continued to get better and better. So I'd like to think we got 3-4 receivers that are as good as anybody. Got a couple new guys. Jake Applegate did a really nice job today at tight end. Dallas did a really good job. Of course, Brock Liam's healthy, and so it's fun to see him back out here playing football again. Up front, really excited about the group that we have. A lot of position flexibility right now. Marcel Akins is playing both tackle and guard. Marquise Taylor-Thorpe is playing both tackle and guard. Roland played both right tackle, left tackle. So without going too much farther into that, you see we're trying to create our own depth. Next man up mentality, which is exciting right now. But it's exciting because we can do those things. Our guys are ahead of the curve because of what we did the last couple of weeks and because of the amount of just valuable returns we had.
Defensively, you guys got a lot of holes to fill. Who are some of the guys we can see kind of step up into those spaces?
Well, the biggest holes that we probably have is corner. We have a couple of guys who played for us. Loyal, who's on, is one of them who started a couple years ago in a bowl game, played a little bit last year sparingly. He's healthy, has done a tremendous job. In the offseason, Coach Ward did a great job with our entire football team. Keontre is about 10 to 12 pounds heavier than he was a year ago. And that added armor, I think, is going to make him more durable, better football player for us. And there's just some young guys that we got to continue as more reps. Football's a game of repetition, and we got to get as many reps as we can.
Was it a busier offseason for you than usual, given trying to retain the talent that you did?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say easy is accurate.
No, busier.
What's that?
Was it a busier offseason?
Probably. Starting right, the day after our final regular season, conversations with all of our players. Having the one portal window is nice, but again, it creates a little bit of a unique December. Probably a good thing that I can't be on the road recruiting per NCAA rules, but you can be with your team. Having end of the year meetings, not only with our players, but with our staff, trying to gather as much intel as I can. I know some people had asked me, what'd you learn in year one? After all those meetings, quite a bit, which I think will better suit our team moving forward.
Can you talk about the continuity of the staff, having a lot of those guys back from eternity?
Really, we have everyone. The only new individual we have is Spencer Petrus, a new analyst that's going to help Coach Ferentz on the offensive line. But we just, originally had created our staff to handle success because one of the negatives of success is you have some attrition at times, not only with players but with coaches. And so when we lost Coach Crabtree, the ability to move Coach Ferentz into that role, a role that he is comfortable with, that he has a lot of experience with, one of the best O-line coaches in the country, there was some rationale behind how we put our staff together, and then moving our assistant O-line coach Haas into the tight end position really was pretty seamless for us. And then defensively, we've done a really good job of maintaining. Believe me, we've had plenty of coaches that have had conversations, or people have reached out. But again, we pride ourselves on being about our people and about our process, and hopefully that's part of the reason why we've been able to retain.
And what do you challenge to the players in the spring practices when you get going? What are the things that you want out of these guys these months here?
Well, they've heard it every day. We want to be, really good at simple. The basic fundamentals that are required to play football. We want to create depth. We want to be better at communicating. There's too many examples during the fall of 10 guys have the call, 1 didn't, and guess what? Good opponents find that one guy. Or we're not going on the same snap count, or it was we were trying to use cadence to set us up for success, and it backfired. So we can clean some of those administrative things up, and then of course creating depth. That's why we 2-spot out here. That's why when you guys were at practice today, you saw kind of field A, field B. I could go back. Julian Polendo last year wasn't a starter game 1, but started 12 games. Both Logan Goodspeed, Mordecai Hines, both were on the second field. And at the end of the Boise game, there were our 2 starting defensive tackles and the guys that were helping us win ball games. And so it works. We're going to create depth. We're going to create value. And the best way to do that is to play. I told our freshmen, nobody's calling home saying I don't get any reps at Fresno State, right? You're going to get developed. We're a premier developmental program, and we're going to take advantage of these moments.
Is there an example last year in spring ball, a guy who started out spring ball not in the starting lineup, but then comes in the starting lineup during the fall?
Well, I think I mentioned, Julian Polendo would be one, Titus Kajavi, another one, because of injuries, but because of the way we practice and our approach, those guys were able to have, Titus played 670 snaps of football for us. Logan Stunt, another one, or Stu, another one. Played 300 snaps, but was third string, in spring ball. In spring of 25, Logan weighed 198 pounds. Right now he's 222, faster and bigger and stronger than he's ever been before. And so, again, kudos to our strength staff, our nutrition staff for, assisting that, and our players for buying into that approach.
And so, follow up real quick, is that the biggest part of spring, is developing the guys, or is it something else?
No, I know it is. It's all about development. The Bulldogs aren't going to win any games during spring. We're setting ourselves up for success this summer. The summer leads into the fall, and we're just trying to, embrace our process right now.
Hey, Coach, we were notified you were going to be handling the messaging on injuries. Is there any personnel items
we
you
have
can
3
clarify?
guys that are with us but not going to participate. Ryan Wilson, Malachi Sumter, and Bryson Donaldson. All of them should be cleared probably by the end of spring, but due to the injuries, due to the surgery they had, we're going to continue to take them through the recovery period and the rehab. And then there's a couple other guys that are limited to individual, and maybe by the end of spring we'll get back into some competitive situations. But for the most part, we have 98 players right now, the most I've ever had during a spring practice, and I'm excited about it because a lot of guys looking to get reps and looking to get better.